I got to be honest, if I can borrow a shady quote. I got to be honest. The Suns should be title favorites. Not my title favorites, but at least Vegas title favorites. I will talk about mine later. Shout out to Giannis. Y'all know where I stand. Always and forever. But am I watching that game? I'm watching Kevin Durant, who can literally get a bucket at ease. I watched how he talked about getting that last bucket, and he was like, when I finally have the dude on my hip, I knew I could rise up, shoot right over him. I just rewatched the play over and over and over.
Is that what he said?
And that's what he said. That's what he said. Nobody can stop Kevin Durant when it comes down to getting buckets. Then I thought about it like this. Kevin Durant was on the court with Luka Dončić, one of the best players playing right now, Devin Booker, first-team All-NBA last year, Kyrie Irving, one of the best scorers at the rim in the history of the Basketball Association, in the history of the game, and KD had the most points on the fewest shots. Y'all do the math, because that math don't math. 37 points, and he took the fewest shots of the floor? Come on now. So when you think about the Suns, who have the best record in basketball over the prior 2 seasons by 14 games, and you add Kevin Durant to that team, a top 12 player in the history of the National Basketball Association, how could they not be title favorites? They should be, at least to me, Slick, Rick, the Bucher. I see you writing profusely, Slick. You're scaring me.
Yeah,
You're making me nervous. You're making me nervous.
Of all those great players that you talked about that they faced, the Dallas Mavericks, that play for the Dallas Mavericks, which one was the best defensive player? Which one was the defensive player?
That's the only guy that plays defense. I mean, Bullock on that.
The guy that they were going after all game long? Yeah, that would be the guy. Look, no, they should not be the title favorites. Did the eastern half of the United States fall off into the ocean? Like, are we not, like, your boy Giannis, did he retire?
He did.
Okay, so for me, if you want to have the Phoenix Suns as the favorite to come out of the West, I have no problem with that. I believe it's by default because all of the other teams that I thought were contenders, I'm just not so sure about, including the Denver Nuggets. They've got to prove it until otherwise. But as I see it, are we basing this on what they've done so far? Because what they've done so far is they've played 2 of the worst offensive teams in the league, in the Bulls and the Hornets.
Why you always do this?
And then they played the Dallas Mavericks, one of the worst defensive teams in the league.
Oh, my gosh.
They still gave up 126 points.
How many do that?
Well, on most nights, that's going to get you beat.
They won, Joy?
They allowed the Dallas Mavericks to shoot 49% overall, 40% from three-point range, and shoot 35 free throws. So you can enjoy the run, but are you telling me that, like, you said nobody can guard Kevin Durant?
Nobody.
And you know what? So far that they've played, but I got Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, over with Boston. Cool. I've got Jason Tatum, who, in spite of what Shady may say, is probably the best defensive player at his position, and certainly a two-way player.
I see that against the Knicks.
We got Giannis.
Giannis, of course.
We got Drew Holiday. Like, there are guys that they're going to have to face to win a title that are immensely better than anything that they face. So I don't want to rain on the parade. You know, you guys always do this.
Who's stopping this? Look at this, though. Look at who's stopping this.
You guys do this. You do this.
Bucket.
I have to be the sane one, so it now I'm Mr. Derpy Derp because I've always got to pull it back. I can love what KD is doing with the Suns and at the same time
not
say,
take it that far.
Don't go quite that far.
Joy, where you at? Should Suns be title favorites?
The Suns, look, KD's amazing. And plug and play God, the God.
The God. Get his name, the God.
I like where this is going.
Yeah.
They should definitely be the favorites in the West.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, well,
Scared me.
the Nuggets really should be, but I don't trust the Nuggets.
Agreed.
So they should be. And I do think there is no one that can stop Kevin Durant. I think you can try, but he just is going to rise up.
He's going to get his.
Last week.
You get his.
His shot, to me, is the most reminiscent of Kareem's skyhook that we've seen in the NBA. He's so tall and can just jump up and shoot. Like, there's no blocking it. He's just unstoppable. But I got to put some respect on the Eastern Conference. We've done a lot of talking about the Western Conference this year. That's where all the stories have been. That's where all the fun has been outside of Brooklyn. And there's just some really good teams over there that have played really consistent basketball, two-way basketball, which I know is boring. But in the postseason, getting stops matter. I was thinking about it the other day because we talked so much about Kyrie's shot. And I'm like, I think Kyrie's shot has almost overtaken the block.
Yeah, the rundown block by LeBron in the play.
Which play was more important? So I would say both. mattered, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, that's how that game went. So, and I think that's a really great just little bubble to throw out there to remind everyone that this is a game where you have to play both sides of the court in the postseason. So I'm not saying that the Suns don't have defense. Kevin Durant is a great defensive player and a great offensive player. And I think they have enough to win a title. I still would be surprised. As I said before, they're not a super team to me. Chris Paul is not the same player that he was 3 or 4 years ago. They're just not. It's not the same thing as the Heat. It's not the same thing as Golden State. This will be an accomplishment, particularly when you're talking about beating those teams in the East.
We talking about a lot of defense. I don't know why. We got the guard. Kevin Durant, listen, he makes the game easier for everybody. So I won't go as far as say, you know, the favorites for a finals championship, right? Because I'm big on this getting there. They're definitely for sure the favorite in the West. When I watched that game against the Mavs, I don't know how you're trying to paint this picture. The Mavs are not a good team. They're still working together. They're a hell of a team. They score a lot of points. Kevin Durant, he makes the game so much easier for the Suns. Like, if we talk about the Mavs and Kyrie Irving and Luka kind of gelling together, we talk about Westbrook going to the Clippers, they're a better team, but it's taking time for them to gel. Kevin Durant comes in there, he's scoring 37 points on 17 shots.
Yeah.
I watched that game, I'm like, wow, this team's hard to defend. The third quarter, they started having Kevin Durant play point guard. I said, oh, my God, it's over. And as the game got later on, fourth quarter, right, they were double-teaming Booker. Right? Then they try to double team Kevin Durant, hitting the CP3 open 3 balls. How do you guard these guys? You got Ayton down there getting for the mismatches of you know, trying to put your best defender on KD or Booker in the pick and rolls. Now you got Ayton on a small forward, getting second chance rebounds. When I watch this team, it's like, how do you defend this team? Another thing, real quick. Since KD has came, right, Devin Booker's playing lights out. He's shooting better from the field goal at 56%. Right, when he was at 45%. He's averaging 10 more points a game at 36 with Kevin Durant when he's averaging 26. And then his three-pointer. He always can shoot the three-point, but he's shooting at 35%. Now he's shooting at 50%. So every way you cut it, you slice this cake up, this pizza, whatever you want to do, they have a better team than Kevin Durant. I don't know what y'all seen, but I seen it, dog. It looked good.
That's why I think they should be title favorites. Like, I remember coming on this show for 2 consecutive years, and for whatever reason, the Brooklyn Nets were title favorites. Right. For 2 consecutive years, we saw KD, we saw Harden, and even before it was KD and Harden, even when it was KD and Kyrie, title favorites.
They were, yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, if we saw a KD and Kyrie team and said, you know what, they should be title favorites, how can the proverbial thought be to pick against the Suns? Now, I'm going with Giannis, but I blind faith go with Giannis. Like, I have some thought process, right? Drew Holiday, better defender. Middleton can play defense when need be, and he can get a bucket. And Giannis is Giannis. But if you look at what Shady was talking about.
Come on.
KD, who can give you 40.
They all shoot all better, too.
Book, who can give you 40 whenever he wants. Ayton, who can give you 15 and 15 on any given day. And then Chris Paul, who's still going to give you 10, 11 assists. He only going to give you probably 8 points.
Don't leave him open.
But I'll give you 8 and 12, or I'll give you 12 and 12.
Yeah.
How can you reasonably pick against that?
Because they're going to be going up against opponents who can slow down one of those pieces. They're very top-heavy. They beat the Dallas Mavericks because Kyrie Irving went off and KD went off. When you're playing against the Bucks, or you're playing against the Booker went off. When you're playing against the best of the best, they're going to limit somebody. Like, KD will still go off. We've seen Booker have off games. Where do the Phoenix Suns go? Can they live off of their defense? To your point, when you mentioned the Cavs win with the rundown block and the shot. The fact of the matter is, in the last 5 minutes of that game, I think that was the only basket scored.
Yeah, it was. On both sides.
Right?
On both sides.
On both sides.
You're right.
So it often comes down to, if you can't score, can you still win the game? If you only get 1 bucket, can you still win the game? I know the Milwaukee Bucks can do that. I know the Boston Celtics can do that. Do I know the Phoenix Suns can do that? No, I do not. So I just think, look, I know what they're capable of, but I also see them as being vulnerable.
Slick, I hear you. I do hear you.
Yeah.
But my thing is, so if we look at the Milwaukee Bucks, because they probably might come out the East.
Course,
hopefully the Sixers do, but if they don't. You're going to put Drew Holiday on Booker and Middleton on Kevin Durant? That's what we're going to do here?
Okay.
He's going to kill him.
Okay.
So you're going to have to start sending some help.
Why?
What you mean? Because Kevin can easily go for 40.
If I'm taking care of Devin Booker and KD's going for 40, and I'm limiting, and nobody else is going off, and Chris Paul at this point can't be the Chris Paul of 20 and 15.
But that's cool though, because Chris Paul is solid enough. He's serviceable enough. Don't act like Chris Paul just a regular dude out there.
What's fascinating though, Shady?
He made some big jumpers last night. They left him open. He got some big three balls
remember,
down.
and Joy can attest to this because we talked about this on shows dating back a year ago. Chris Paul's great round one, and he cool in the semis. By the time you get to the conference finals or the NBA finals, them legs gone.
He ain't scoring. You talking about what? So he ain't scoring 25 and 30s.
He better not because he can't.
He don't need to.
Okay.
That's the difference. We don't need Chris Paul to be Chris Paul the old. Let's be Chris Paul, solid. Give us 10 points, a couple of assists, and meaningful points, like fourth quarter.
They also have Ayton.
And they got Ayton. Come on.
So here, I'm glad you brought that up. Because this is my issue, and this is the problem.
Pick and rolls with KD.
DeAndre Ayton could be the solution to a lot of their problems.
He could be.
Could be.
Okay.
But to get the best out of DeAndre Ayton, you have to involve him offensively. He has to get touches. Now, if you're getting KD going off, you're getting Booker going off, Chris Paul's getting
KD only had
things
17
done.
shots. That's the thing. He only had 17 shots.
Are you? I mean, look.
I mean, but that's on Monty Williams, who's done a great job with this team so far. You have to be strategic with that in those finals. And it's really
how's
comes
the
down
relationship?
To matchups, too.
How's the relationship? How's the relationship between Monty Williams?
It was a little rocky.
Rocky.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.